Hey guys, and welcome to the 2012 edition of The Journal. I'm your host, Joel Evangelista.
And I'm Rebekah Forde-Klumb. Now, if you aren't familiar with what we do here on The Journal, let me break it down for you. This is where the rubber hits the road for Centennial's broadcasting and film students.
That's right, Rebekah. This show is produced by students, hosted by students, and all the content is created by students. Then we broadcasted it over the web, where it is viewed by literally tens of people all around the world.
So consider yourself lucky if you tuned in, because we have a great show to kick off the season.
You've got that right. We have interesting stories from all over the spectrum today, from pigging out in the kitchen to, well, just being a pig.
What is that about a pig?
Let's find out together with our first piece from Tahirah Abrash.
I'm a 21-year-old student, and I am the owner of a pig. He's supposed to be a micro mini pig, and he was expected to grow maybe 15 to 20 pounds full grown. He's nearing 40 now, which is kind of terrifying because he's going to grow for another 2 years. I don't know, I've always wanted a pig. I mean, a lot of people would pester, their parents about, get me a kitten, get me a puppy. And I was all, get me a pig. I don't know why. I don't know where it started from or, how it happened, but I always found myself drawn to the Royal Winter Fair, to Riverdale Farm, and I was like the pig whisperer, man. I would just get all up in those pigs and hug them, and they would just come to me and just we'd hang out, and I don't know, it's always been about pigs for me.
I'm not sure if I actually really believed that she was going to get a pig. I don't know, when someone sticks to something for that long, you kind of hope that it actually does happen eventually.
Started saving up for Otis maybe 2 years ago. I was working full time and I pretty much knew that's what I wanted, and I thought I could handle the responsibility and everything. I was expecting something really different when I was purchasing Otis. I thought, it'd be cuddly, it'd be affectionate, it'd be like a best friend, it'd be like a dog. I get to take him out on walks, I get to pet him. It'd be really cool. I don't know, just something to spend time with. Just a pet, like a normal pet. I wasn't expecting pig anger.
It eats things. It ate my iPod and my phone. It's eaten my cords, my camera cords. It ate a memory card of mine. It started to eat my Modern Warfare 3.
Okay, so here's the thing. Otis makes this sound when he's angry, and he just opens his mouth and he locks eyes with you and he goes. I used to get a lot more sleep before I got Otis, but now he's like a rooster or something. He wakes up at 5:30 a.m. on the dot 7 days a week, and that's just it. I'm up. And he's screaming to be fed. In the morning I feed Otis, it's like pellets. It kind of looks like rabbit food, and I'm assuming it's a mixture of vegetables and grains and stuff, vitamins and minerals that he needs. Sometimes in the evening I cut him up half an apple or a banana or something, and he really likes fruits. All in all, I do enjoy Otis's company. We cuddle on the couch together. I still get to pet him. I get to give him baths. I get to play with him. He's a joy to be around sometimes, when he's not being angry. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the next 20 years of my life with this pig as a pet. I'm happy that I made the purchase, I think. Time will tell. I think I'm happy.
Well, that was utterly hilarious, wasn't it, Rebekah?
Utterly?
Yeah, I had a cow watching it, didn't you?
I think you're thinking of the wrong farm animal, Joel. Anyways, moving on. Our next doc explores the small world of hemp in Toronto. Maxine Acosta investigates.
My name is Dorlene, and my company is called Hemp. Hemp should be the new cotton because it can be used in any of the ways that the cotton can be manipulated. It can be turned into silk form. It can be turned into so many more things that cotton can't do, but it can do everything that cotton can, and it grows without herbicides or pesticides. So there's the cotton industry is, I think, number 1 or 2 on it's right alongside the cattle industry in terms of the negative effects of the crop on the environment. So it would just be amazing. I think that's the only way I'm really eco, is that every dress I make has an eco base. Unfortunately, I only have 2 natural dyes to my repertoire, and the rest are all acid-based dye, but they're used in a vegetable, they're an acid dye, but in a vegetable base, so they're supposedly low impact, but they're still chemical.
I'm Dominic Kramer. I'm the owner, president, call me what you want, of Toronto Hemp Company, THC. Lucked upon, I guess, sort of an opportunity, a need for a place like this in Toronto, and figured I'd try it out, give it a shot. So I rented a little tiny, gosh, I think it was $400 a month, little tiny 200 square foot of office space, and saw what happened and just kept putting back in and building, you know? I do think we surprise a lot of people, of course. I mean, most of all by like the way the store is. A lot of people would expect a hemp store to be more like a little hippie corner tie-dye, you know, funny little place. So to see a 7,500 square foot place with a garden center and all the other stuff that we have here is pretty shocking to most. I mean, some would say we're probably the biggest, most elaborate cannabis hemp shop in possibly the world. Well, Youngsterdam is a term coined, I believe it started off by Mark Emery, the Prince of Pot. It's not something that we came up with ourselves, but what happened was I opened up a little hemp store, which grew into a big hemp store, and then I also opened a glass blowing studio and a cafe and a vapor lounge and a seed shop and plant shop and all kinds of little other shops. And so it's a little association of a few different stores, and they're all around the same area. Oh, and there's the medical cannabis place as well. And so somebody decided to call it Youngsterdam, obviously after Amsterdam. Two really big changes over the years that have sort of shaped how things go here. Well, a bunch of changes, but two of the biggest changes has been the evolution of hemp products themselves. You know, when I started out, it was really basic, hippie tie-dye, smocks, frocks, whatever you call it, and you know, just really basic stuff, very, very basic, and you know, not very stylish, not very fashionable, if you will. And it's changed a lot over the years to now things, you know, there's so many different companies making stuff, and the stuff has evolved, the items have evolved to such a degree, you know, from the cosmetic items to everything that we carry. It's really, everything's stepped up. And then the second big change that we noticed is the availability of hemp products in other businesses, you know, some of the mainstream grocery stores, clothing stores, that kind of thing. So those two aspects really do affect how we've grown and evolved, and also will continue to affect us to a great extent. Of course, I haven't smoked a joint in forever, and I still have the dry mouth. God damn it.
Well, that was some hempful information. Next up, we have a piece from Colin Bennett about a local food bank for you here on The Journal.
My name is Margaret Cantwell, and what do I do here? I do a little bit of everything. My title is Senior Volunteer Supervisor. This is our regular stock room. All these freezers, a lot of them are full. Most of them I think are full, and they're usually full. That food supply comes from Second Harvest. Spare supply of food. We'll use this closet. It used to be a walk-in freezer, and we disconnected it because we couldn't afford to run two walk-ins. There's another one behind Jamie right there. At the end of the day, usually this room is full, say a Friday evening, and then this is all gone by Saturday. The food comes in and the food goes out.
We got some bigger loaves. We even have heart-shaped loaves for Valentine's Day. We got everything.
I think a lot of the breads that didn't come from places like Metro and stuff, and they do the Second Harvest. Just pastries that make the end of the day their own stuff, and they package them, give them flat.
She's been through the interview now. And Elizabeth, let me see her number for a minute. So coming in the door, each person gets a number. Michael will call them to the interview desk. When they do the interview desk, they'll break down the family unit into how many people are in the family. You got 3 adults, Sometimes there'll be 3 adults, 2 children, whatever's on, well, how many family members are listed here. And that's how she'll serve them. A lot of people know a lot more about poverty than these people do. But we get like all kinds of cases, people who are evicted from their, rooms and stuff like that. One lady came out one day and she laid so many things on the table. I didn't even know she didn't know where to start, but she was expecting me to help her choose where to start. Just, where do I start? I go, wow, we just start here. We just got our whole kitchen. They tore everything, the whole kitchen down bare at Christmas time. And like ET Canada, Entertainment Tonight, gave us a new kitchen. So everything that you see here is brand new, except for the cupboards. These were ours. We got these from the restaurant. Proper equipment, restaurant equipment, but the rest of the stuff, everything you see here is brand new. They're here because, they have a problem with providing for themselves. So what's that all about? So a lot of clients are not that comfortable coming in the door. We deal with the whole person, not just like, the hunger issue, because the hunger is just a band-aid, it's just a cover, if you will. They're here for more.
It's always nice seeing people helping each other out like that.
I agree. It's all about what's best for the public good.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about the public good with our next piece from Andrew Casement.
I think you need to give people one fact that they weren't aware of before that sort of gives them an idea of, oh wow, we really are in trouble, and then you got to tell them what you're going to do about it.
The funding of Canadian politics, I think, made a huge step forward in a positive direction when the Chrétien government brought in public financing at the federal level.
On January 1st, 2004, John Chrétien made a set of amendments to the Canadian Elections Act. He limited the amount that could be given by individuals and organizations. To make up for the funding gap for the parties, they introduced a direct public funding model. Every vote cast, regardless of the success of your particular candidate, represented a few dollars to their affiliated party.
The fact that the Harper government in the latest budget canceled that program, I think is a step in the wrong direction from Canada, and I think it's going to hurt our democracy.
I didn't actually expect it until Harper got a majority. I mean, it's such a deeply unpopular thing to do, but he had already threatened to do it. So when he got a majority, I guess it was no huge surprise. It was just a very big disappointment to us all.
When you remove public financing, it benefits more established parties, obviously, to the detriment of parties like the Green Party, which are newer parties, and also parties that, like the Green Party, that don't really have, are not really beholden to vested interests.
Very much like a fire sale. We try to absolutely sell everything off as quickly as possible, and we're not considering the fact that we no longer have the equity. If we sell off our forests, then we no longer have any forests, and suddenly we're stuck. If we sell off all of our tar sands and churn everything up, then we've got a big hole in the ground, and it's a waste. And we just count the profit as it comes in, not counting the waste as it goes out. And that's very wrong.
And many Canadians agree with these ideas. In the 2011 election, the Green Party took home nearly 4% of the popular vote and secured their first seat in the House. Yet now they find themselves in a very difficult financial position.
Okay, I'm just going to be quick because I am what's between you and football. For those of you who want to watch the Super Bowl, so you probably want to get out of here as quick as possible. And the fastest way to get out of here, because we've locked the doors, so you can't leave until I'm done. The fastest way to get out of here is to donate money to Adriana.
Harper made a big deal about how, this is a subsidy not for people who this is a subsidy that we give, and it's not based on who people support. But that's wrong. It is absolutely based on who people support. It is based on who people vote for, and that's actually a much more important subsidy than subsidizing the people who give money, who are the people who don't necessarily so much support the party as they have deep pockets, so they can give a lot more. And the government is only too happy to subsidize that.
We were told that eliminating this subsidy would be a tax savings for Canadians. But the truth of the matter is, with new higher individual donation limits and larger tax deductions, the net tax burden will be greater.
And for $400, if you give $400, it actually only costs you $100. So think about that. You give $400, and And it's 300 does not go to Stephen Harper. It comes back to your pocket.
We give much bigger subsidies to people who give, $1,000 a year to a political party than we do for somebody who cast a vote. But the vote is actually what our democracy should be based on. And that's where if we're going to spend any money subsidizing the political process, that's where it should go.
Whatever your political views, do you want tax money going to support the party you vote for, or the one that someone else writes a check for?
Let's stay in the community and move on to a local artist.
Here's ETEN, a local graffiti artist for you here on the Journal.
It's ETEN, more. What's good? I grew up mostly with my hands, doing things with my hands, like real crafty stuff. So I grew up with a lot of artwork. My grandpa, on my dad's side, he was a really good artist. He was a good portrait artist, a good landscape artist. And my aunt does shows all over the place. Like, she's in Europe, she lives in Switzerland. All my cousins in the Philippines paint, all of them in Europe paint. They're all good, it just runs in the family. They understood it was something I did, and it's something I did a lot. And they saw that I had passion for it, and it kept me within the arts. I try to keep busy, I try to knock off a couple heads every day. It makes money out of it, and that's what I use to pay the bills, so it works. I'm trying to make it, it's like turning into more of like a career kind of, where it's taking up most of my time. I like it, keeps me busy, keeps me occupied, keeps me something to look forward to. The craftsmanship, the craftsmanship, you gotta watch out, like for the fade, and make it nice and blend, make it nice and bald too, cause it's a more it's like similar but not the same. Like, that's the only thing that drives me to do it a handful of times. I want to get up, yo. I want to get up and just kill shit. The need to get up. The need to go out and crush it. The need to go mob in the streets with your bag of paint. You'll have maybe like this many cans in your backpack. Just walking around. You always hold 2 because you want to do a throw up or like at least a straight letter. I'll bring a marker too for tag. Just walk down the street, just mailbox, telephone pole, mailbox. And then I see a good spot, good timing. Just get up, look around once or twice, see if the coast is clear, and then just nail that shit. Just you fill in while you make the shape of your letter at the same time. So it's just, the outline fixes it all. Define success. Well, if you're doing it, whatever it is you're doing, and you're happy and proud of yourself for doing it, that's success.
Now for our last documentary on this episode of the Journal. Something that's just plain tasty.
That's right, Joel. Let's go to the kitchen for some tasty treats.
So today we're going to be making cake pops. What you want to do is add some water to the cake mix, vegetable oil, and eggs. Now what you want to do is mix all the ingredients together, put it on low for about 30 seconds, and then put it on high for about a minute. After you're done mixing all the cake mix, what you want to do is put it into a non-stick cake pan.
Make sure that it's spread out evenly. Once the oven reaches 350, you can put it in the oven. On the top rack, right in the center, since this is a gas oven, we want to just put it in for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. And at that time, we'll check if the center of the cake is still batter or if it's been cooked. So you want it to cool off for about 20 to 30 minutes. Check on the temperature temperature, but you really want to cool down because you're going to be handling it and making them into balls. Now that the cake is cooked and it has cooled down, what you want to do is just break it up into pieces in a big mixing bowl. So get a lot of the big pieces crumbled down. And what you want to do is get about a half a cup of icing. Whipped icing is pretty good, it works better. It compacts the mixture together. So all it is heavy cream, icing sugar, and vanilla extract. So what you want to do is just drop it in the mixing bowl. Now the icing's in the mixture, all you want to do is mix it in with a fork. Get it nice and even. So now that the icing has been mixed into the cake, what you want to do is, with a spoon, scoop up a good size amount for about 1 inch to 1.5 inch balls. And what you're going to do is just make them play around within your hand. You want to get it compact so it doesn't fall apart when you put the stick in there later on. This is one part of the cake pops being complete. We just molded them into balls. So it makes around 20 to 25 cake pops, depending on how big you make the balls. In this case, these are a little bit bigger. So what you want to do is put them in the freezer for now, so that the balls can take shape. And while those are in the freezer, what we want to do is heat up the chocolate. What you want to do is get a mixing bowl that's slightly larger than the actual pot you're boiling the water in, and dump the chocolate chips in there. And what it's going to do is going to melt the chocolate. Just place the bowl over the pot. Just let it sit for a few minutes and the chocolate will start to melt. Now we've removed the balls from the freezer and we've melted the chocolate. So now what we want to do is take the lollipop stick and dip about 1 inch of chocolate onto the stick and insert it into the ball. And the purpose of this is that after we do all these with the sticks and the balls and the cake balls, they're going to go in the freezer and it's going to help the cake part stick to the lollipop when we go to cover the rest of the ball. So now the chocolate has hardened to the cake portion of the pop, so now it's actually sturdy and it will stay on. What you want to do is the chocolate that we had melted from earlier, you'd want to cover the cake portion of the pop using a spatula to help apply the chocolate on. And then remove any excess that's on the cake pop. So now the cake pop is ready to enjoy.
Well, folks, that's all we've got for documentaries on this week's journal. So let's introduce our special musical guest, Chapeau.
It's time we we took a trip, so stay up late and wait a bit. Watch lights from cities flicker by, we'll settle on the other side. Rattles shake my shifty bones and jitters take us straight on home. I think there may be too much wine, so let's converse another time. Let's converse another time. Another time. Strange delusions keep in line. I know, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And I know, this isn't how it's meant to be. I know, it's hard to win. Each time you leave, it starts again. The words may change, my head will spin. Get on that bus, it's time to pack her in. Steam billows in the air, so sweet to be right there. Voices chatter on and on, a loving look that lasts too long. The world then deconstructs for night, and windows mirrored keep in light. Think there may be too much wine, so let's converse another time. Let's converse another time. Another time. Strange delusions keep in line. I know, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And I know, this isn't how it's meant to be. I know, it's hard to win. Each time you leave, it starts again. The words may change, my head will spin. Get on that bus, it's time to pack her in. Whoa. 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 I know. This isn't how we're meant to be. I know, it's hard to win. Each time you leave, it starts again. The words may change, my head will spin. Get on that bus, it's time to pack her in.
That's all the time we have for today's show.
We hope you will join us next week for another trip around the GTA.
See you next time on The Journal, live from Centennial College.